Hello, welcome to the Retro Game Club podcast. This is episode 155, and that is also a different episode number of, what is it, season 5, episode 19. Wow. And I guess my name is Rob, and I am with an ex-American Gladiator, Hugh.
Yeah, my nickname was Jellyfish. It didn't go over very well.
You just got mowed over.
Yep, because I was all spineless. I had no bones, basically, and
nice.
And lost every event. Yeah.
Nice. They should make Senior American Gladiator or something like that.
I'm pretty sure that was like the early days of COVID at Walmart in the toilet paper aisle.
Yeah, yes, I think you're right. What we actually kind of talked. We kind of recorded recently for once, yeah. And so I know we haven't had much time. But what have you been up to?
Well, you know what's funny. So a year ago, I went to a garage sale. I know I do this. This is a very fascinating story. But I found a Famiclone at a garage sale. I think I mentioned this. It was a sale that had like a bunch of import games, and the people there were like, "Oh yes, this is like my son's old junk." Right. Most of the things were priced sort of like eBay pricing. The Famiclone was not. It was really cheap because it didn't have a power adapter, but I happen to know it works with the Sega Genesis power adapter, so it's fine.
Yeah.
And while I was driving around this weekend to an unrelated thing, I was going to the cardboard dump. It's a very exciting life I live, to dump off cardboard. And there was a sign at that same house again. So I stopped by that house, and again, they had a bunch of crazy import games. I took a photo because I'm going to post one of them on my website. I have a section about weird stuff I find. Basically the same pricing. I did ask permission first. I'm like, hey, I got a friend who's looking to build up his collection. Can I send him this picture? That's just what I said. Because most people don't like you photographing like their yard and stuff. They also had a broken Super Nintendo for $5, which I'm like, I mean, it's tempting because it was a Super Nintendo where the plastic hadn't yellowed yet.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm like, I guess I could buy it and just recase one of my 2 working Super Nintendos that's getting a little yellow. But then I'm like, I'm never going to actually do that. So let someone else do it. Maybe next year, same weekend, I'll drive by it Labor Day weekend again, and maybe they'll be added one more time.
Nice.
I don't know. I don't know. That's about the only gaming. I did see, while I was out, I did see an eMac. You remember those?
Oh, yeah, I love those. Those were heavy.
Well, that's why I didn't buy it. But yeah, someone was selling an eMac. I don't remember the price now, but it was probably a good deal. I don't know.
So wait, it was the white one with
white. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So for people that don't know, there was the iMac. Everyone knows the iMac.
Yeah.
Then for a very short period of time, there's the eMac, which was G4, and it was still a CRT, but it was a flat CRT. And what people don't realize is only the exterior of a flat CRT is flat. The interior is still rounded like a tube. So you just have a ton of extra glass.
Yes, you do. Yeah. So I look, it was released in 2002, which checks out. This is an extremely 2002 looking thing.
Yeah.
But no, I'm just like, it's super heavy. It's, I'm looking at the specs. Like it would just take up space. I literally don't have space for this thing. So hopefully someone else got it and did something with it. It was discontinued in 2006. So this is an old computer. Maybe someone bought it and modded it to put a pie in or something. I don't know. I don't care. Not my problem. What have you been up to?
Oh, let's see. Well, first of all, shout out to some listeners. We haven't heard from some of you in a while in email, so I miss some of you. So I hope a lot of those old regular emailers shoots us an email soon, and maybe some, if anyone gets bored, some stars or reviews on your podcast app. It helps us. We don't have Patreon or anything. We do it for the listen counts. That's how I level up as listener counts. I don't
even look at that.
Yeah, I don't even look anymore. I don't even ask Zach about it anymore. Yeah, sorry about the audio glitches. If anyone noticed, the last episode was actually all the audio from our Google Meet. I, A, forgot to hit record, and B, there was also a different problem going on. I'm rebuilding my studio. And you may not realize it, but a music studio is not conducive to podcasting. They're actually very different setups. So I'm kind of Frankensteining this together, but my voice should sound a little bit different this time. Should be a lot louder and clearer. And next time, I should have a new mic too, so it should even be better than that. But on to gamey type stuff. I beat Diablo 4. And what do I want to say about this game? Let's see. I didn't play any of the online features, but, they kind of force stuff on you. You need to log in. You need to be online. And you also see, like, other people kind of running around, but they have nothing to do with you when you're in the campaign. You just kind of see them running around and maybe fighting some beasts that you can't fight. And I didn't want any of that, but because of that, there's no pause in the game. And I didn't realize that at first. And I thought, how you could, in most games, you could go to a map screen and you're paused or, something like that. Not in this. Yeah. If you go to a map screen, you might go back and be being beaten up by a beast.
Oh, okay. It's been a while since I played a game that worked like that.
Don't go back to it. So I don't know. This game, it was pretty big. The dialogue was great. Like the acting and stuff was fine. The cutscenes were incredible. And the last eighth of the game was fantastic. The rest of it wasn't much better than like Diablo 2, which I really want to go back and play soon. No online features there. And so I don't know. I'm not going to give away the ending, but let's just say I'm don't think I'm going to go in for season 2 or any online stuff. But really annoying that you have to be online. And if you pause it too long, well, there is no pause. But if you know how a trick also to pausing is like going to the PlayStation screen or the Xbox screen?
Yeah.
Nope. If you stay there too long, you lose your connection and then they kick you out for no reason. Just stupid stuff. So, I don't know. Again, it's not a bad game. It's just everything I'm saying, it's just not really for me, I will probably play Diablo 5. That's just how I am. So much time will have gone by that I will have forgotten. And I actually just beat, I could use air quotes for beat, the game The Quarry. Have you heard of this one?
I have, and I think it's the same style. There's a game in the same style that is on my backlog that I literally own, and I'm drawing a blank on the name. It takes place at a camp. Maybe it's an airplane crash. What is? Oh, geez.
I don't know which one.
Backlog.
I don't know which
I'm describing this game. Well, not The Last of Us. I'm describing this game so badly.
Not Lost.
Not Lost. No, it's not Lost. Since I'm a dork, I have a spreadsheet with my game backlog.
You got to.
Yeah. Let's see. Hold on. Backlog. It's under the column literally nothing stopping me from playing. Until Dawn.
Same developer.
Okay.
I think so. It's Supermassive developed, 2K published. I cannot recommend this game enough. This game was fantastic. It came out around this time last year. It takes place at the end of August at a camp in I think Northern America. Not, North America, but Northern North America. And
I'm probably confusing Quarry now with the game that I want to play.
You might be, but this has real actors, so it's all 3D animation. The cutscenes are all 3D, but it has real actors like David Arquette and Ted Raimi, and a few others you might recognize. Like if you saw the Detective Pikachu, that dude is a big part of it. If you watch Modern Family, what is her name? Ariel Winter, I think her name is. Okay. She's a big part of it. Fantastic acting, really fun. It's pretty much a 70s, 80s creature feature that you are part of. You play every single character, and the object is just to try to live, kind of like Night Trap type thing. And I did horribly because, at first I really didn't understand the controls, even though they're super simple.
Okay.
And I'm going to go back and play it again. It's about a 9-10 hour game, and I'm definitely going to play it again. I know what I did wrong, and I want to see the other cutscenes, and I had such a great time playing this game. It's better than most movies I've seen in the past 10 years. Like I
Okay.
cannot. This time of year, please, if anyone has played or is gonna play this game, please email us. I want, even though it's not retro, it's great. So I can almost see myself playing this annually. That's how much I enjoyed it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I heard they were short games. That's why I didn't want to buy that one. Like, I read the review, and that's why I think I'm commingling these games in my brain. I'm like, well, I don't know if I want to spend six. I mean, I realize like I'd probably spend $60 for a new Uncharted game, and that's like a 10-hour game too. So it's a whatever. But the other one was like, I don't know, 14, $15 on Amazon now. So
Well, exactly. And I played it on PS5 just because I already had it on PS5, but I heard it's fine on the Steam Deck too. So you might get a good deal there. If I remember right, you got a Steam Deck, right?
no,
Oh, I thought you did. Oh, I'm thinking about the Pocket. You got the Pocket. That's right.
I did get the Pocket. Yeah.
Speaking of the Pocket, you read about the Analog Pocket Glow edition?
Yeah. I mean, I heard of it. I don't really see the point, but I guess if you lose it in the dark.
I guess. I mean, you could put like a tape, like an Apple AirPod thing, whatever those are on the back of it, or something to find it. But for me, the whole point of these systems is the screen. And anything, that's why I always buy a black phone or like a black version of a mobile console or handheld console because I want the screen to pop. Any color or glowing around it, I think, would take away from that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That would be bad.
yeah. So I guess we should do a podcast, maybe. I mean, we only have one news item this time. And it's not a very fun one. It's the Embracer Group closed Volition. So after 30 years, the creators of Descent, Volition Studios, is no more. And I guess it was a very abrupt thing. Totally shut it down.
Okay, so this is the same. I saw an article that was like, creator of Saints Row shut down or something. Is this the same company?
I think so, yeah.
I've never played Saints Row. I just heard that if you like GTA, you might like Saints Row.
Yeah, I heard the same thing. It's on my list. I think I own them all on Steam. I probably got a Humble Bundle for $1.99 or something. But yeah, super not cool. Not embraced at all.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is why I think when we were talking about Embracer buying limited run games, I said, well, it was fun while it lasted. And I don't think they're going to shut down limited run games. And I don't know, I've been kind of happy with some of the things limited run games has been shipping lately, but it's very rare. I don't know. For me, I don't associate like being bought by some big conglomerate with long-term success.
Well, so I want to caveat what I'm about to say. We've interviewed the guys from Limited Run. Great guys, like them, very nice to us. I own a lot of Limited Run games, mostly on the Switch. But do you think they're kind of 1983 Atariing this kind of thing, where it's like so much is coming out now, or do you think it's a lot of the stuff they're releasing just isn't for me, but other people are going to, buy the heck out of it and they're going to be fine?
I don't know. I just ordered Quake 2 from them. Mm-hmm. So throw that out there. I just pre-ordered Quake 2. I can't remember what version I bought now. I think PS4. So, I mean, it's interesting. Like, they do sell a lot more on Amazon now, which kind of like takes the limited part out of the name. Mm-hmm. And it's more like we're publishing indie game. Like, they're always publishing indie games, but like if you're selling on Amazon, you're now really like more of an indie game publisher, which is great. Like, I'm happy if there's an indie game I want to get a physical copy.
Yeah.
And then they're doing a lot of like reprints of collections. I saw they just did like a bunch of Jurassic Park stuff, a bunch of Castlevania stuff. They've been doing that for forever too, though.
Sorry, I might jump on the Jurassic Park one, actually. That looks
okay.
Cool.
The collection?
Like you've said before, every single game is different.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all different games. I own like most of them. That's the problem. I probably have a copy of all these somewhere.
Well, you also own Quake 2, right?
I have Quake 2 for PC. I don't have it. Oh, wait, no. I have it on... So I have like the PlayStation and N64 ports, which are, not the same as the PC port.
Yeah. A few less polygons.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just figured I would I don't know why I ordered it. Okay, I really don't. I just have a collection of Quake 1 and 2 copies, and I wanted to have it on either Switch or PS4, whichever one I pre-ordered that I don't remember now.
Well, but also,
I don't have a problem, I swear.
Caveat with, physical editions, as long as the physical edition doesn't require a download. You know what I mean? At that point,
Yes.
It's just like an NFT.
Right, so Quake 1 does not require a download.
Okay,
It might have
cool.
had like a patch or something,
That's different.
but
yeah.
I could just put it in and play it.
Yeah.
I don't like have anything for or against Embracer Group. It's just like this is how it goes, man.
Yeah.
Big companies will often squeeze out whatever value they can get out of an asset and then shut it down.
Yeah, no. Again, great guys. I'm still gonna buy more stuff from them, but I've just noticed a lot. I mean, I'm not comparing them all with at all with 1UP or something. Like, I think Limited Run is way better than 1UP. Very different, but the quality from Limited Run, you're getting something good.
Yeah. I've never had any complaints about anything from Limited. What I do wish Limited Run would do is go after. I don't know if they can do this, probably not, but go after some. There's a very small bit of the Play Asia market they might be able to go after. So I've now bought 2 import games from Play Asia that were Japanese versions of games that have English text because, for whatever reason, Square Enix won't release physical copies of some of their games in the US.
Yeah, I've had great luck with Play Asia. I like them.
Yeah, I like them too. They're just not cheap. They're just expensive. So I didn't mention this at the beginning. I recently picked up the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster series.
Mm-hmm.
So you can buy that on the Switch store. That's also not a cheap game even for a download. But I wanted a physical copy. They don't sell a physical copy in the US. And you could buy it on Amazon for this is not a joke, $120. Play Asia, you get it at the price it is in Asia. You're just paying a lot more for shipping because it's coming on a boat or whatever. But I just got that. I'm probably gonna play that soon too because they have modes in that game. I guess if you don't like the battle, if you want to play the story but skip all the random battles, you can do that.
Ooh, I might do that.
And you can crank up the XP as an alternative. So your characters level up really, really fast. Like Final Fantasy VI, I would level up my characters to 99 and then just turn off battles and play through the story,
All right. Well, I have that ready to purchase right after this episode.
Yeah.
You sold me on it.
Yeah. It looks cool. I mean, I haven't played it yet, but Final Fantasy VI is still my favorite in the series. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed 5 an awful lot, so I have really gone back to it since playing it. 4 I would definitely like better if there were fewer battles. So that's what I'm looking forward to trying again.
You know me, turn-based is a new thing to me.
Yeah, but some of the there was a period there in the 90s where people were expecting, because I remember I was working at a game store and people would literally come in asking if an RPG had 100 hours of gameplay, right? I'm supposed to know that, but I'm making $5.50 an hour. But the reason is that a lot of these games, and Phantasy Star 2, which I really like, was notorious for this, of just padding out the length of the game by just, every step you take, it's a random battle. They could take the word random out of random battle, because it's just so... By the end of Phantasy Star 2, it's just step battle, right?
I have heard that, yeah.
And Final Fantasy 4, especially towards the end, is just step battle, just to I don't know if it's to pad it out or to make you suffer. I don't know, but it is really brutal towards the end. And the games get better. I mean, by the time you get to Final Fantasy 7, definitely doesn't work like that. And even 6 is actually a pretty easy game as RPGs go. Once you kind of figure out how to the way the stat bonus system works when you level up, if you play the game, you'll figure it out pretty fast. But you can make your characters pretty invincible pretty quickly in Final Fantasy VI.
Cool. I'm excited. And again, there's no reason to play those in order, right? They have nothing to do with each other.
No. I mean, Square Enix at least, will tell you when a game is a sequel. Final Fantasy X2, you have to play Final Fantasy X.
Yeah. Well, we do have a topic this time. Speaking of battles.
Yes. American Gladiators. So I've been on a bit of a kick lately because there were 2 different documentaries about American Gladiators out recently. They're kind of competing documentaries. I think I mentioned this last episode, where one is from the producer standpoint and the other is from the gladiator standpoint.
Okay.
And they, of course, have radically different ideas, opinions of what the history of the show should be. The Netflix one about the gladiators, I found it to be much more entertaining and informative. The one that ESPN did was a ESPN 30 for 30, which are very well produced documentaries. They're all excellent, but that one was, they couldn't get many gladiators to appear on it. In the a lot of the producer trying to justify, things he did that seemed like bad employment practices. Right.
So it's a lot like wrestling.
A lot like it, yeah. I mean, he's why did the gladiators get paid more? And he's like, well, it's not like they were. He would make up stories like, well, it's not like they were going to take a pay cut if we lost money. Like, yeah, well, that's not the way running a business works, right? Like,
yeah.
That was a lot. A lot of the criticism of the producer was how they were using like the image and likeness of the gladiators, and no one was getting paid for it. So if you bought a toy with, Malibu on it, Malibu didn't get any money for that.
Oh, wow. Okay. I did not realize that.
Yeah, and even pro wrestlers, they get a cut of merch sales.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So that's a little bit different. So, yeah, they basically, in the gladiators' perspective, it was a lot of like partying and drugs and drinking, but it also a lot of complaining about how poorly they were paid.
Yeah, I could have guessed that. I'll be watching that soon.
Yeah.
But this episode was what? Sheila, Trish, Rico, and John, season 3, episode 1, which is linked in our notes.
Yep.
So, I mean, we're not going to do like a play-by-play of this. Just kind of give our impressions of really the show in general and some parts of this episode, I guess. This season 3 still feels pretty early.
Yeah, the set still looks kind of crude. It's not the biggest difference you can tell is the assault set. So if you watch these documentaries, and I forgot about this too, like the first season, the assault set was trying to look like you're in the wilderness or something. It was really super sketchy looking. This time it has a more kind of slick, polished looking assault set.
Yeah, it almost looks like indoor paintball set or something like that. If that makes sense. That may be a weird reference.
It does look like a paintball set, yeah.
But my first note is like, who was that co-host and did he stick around? He was some wrestler and it was his first episode.
What was his name?
I don't know. I forgot to write it down. Huh?
Was it Mike Adamley, was it?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Oh wait, no, I got to go back. This is turning out. I saw that in your notes, and I'm like, oh well, hopefully. It says Mike Adamley and Larry Zonka. So Larry Zonka was a football player.
Yeah, so he was the new co-host for that episode, but I don't know how long he.
Okay, Mike Adamley, I think was the host. I think Mike Adamley, he was a pro wrestling announcer also, and I thought he was on American Gladiators for quite a while. Larry Zonka was a NFL player. I don't think he stuck around.
So wait, Larry Zonka, 1990 to 93, he was on it, according to Wikipedia.
Yeah, I think Larry Zonka was added because kind of the same reason they had like Jim Brown as an announcer on like the first ever UFC card. Like here's a former football star that just like means that this is a credible athletic event. Because why would Larry Zonka show up to some 2-bit production?
Yeah, because he's getting paid. That's why.
Right. And Jim Brown, who is not a particular, I mean, people debate whether or not he's the greatest NFL player ever. He's not a really great announcer, and certainly doesn't have anything to bring to a mixed martial arts tournament. But UFC in the very early incarnation had him as an announcer because he was Jim Brown.
Let's see. Yeah, so I thought that was totally random because, again, I'm not a sports guy, so I was like, who? Who are you? Let's see. Thunder, who's a man, and my 4-year-old daughter had the exact same haircut.
Yeah.
Kind of threw me off. The male contestants are legit faster than the gladiators in this episode, at least.
Yeah, I put this on the notes because this was a thing that to me was super interesting after seeing the documentaries. And I also noticed that the contestants were faster than the gladiators. The gladiators eventually complained to the producers that they were getting hurt too much, and they wanted more average contestants. You know, the show originally wanted to be like really buff, fit people going up against the gladiators, which is kind of what happened here. The contestants, they're not huge, but they're all in good shape. They're way better shape than me, for sure. And the gladiators eventually convinced the producers to get like more doughy people on the show.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I also put the female gladiators are terrifying. Any one of them could just murder me with like one punch. So that's what they should do. They should have 40-something-year-old, not very fit dudes go up against the female gladiators and just get... I mean, it'd almost be a blooper reel, right?
Oh, yeah. That's another one where we see the interviews with them on the documentaries. They're all like, for all they come across is incredibly nice.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Thunder, I'm trying to remember. I think Thunder is the one, though, who is like barely recognizable today. One of them was like bad shape. like, you know, in a walker at fairly young age shape.
Yeah, again, that happens to a lot of wrestlers and football players too, right?
Oh, well, I guess Thunder would be in bad shape because he died 2 years ago.
Oh.
Now I can't remember which gladiator it was that looked. It could have been. They could have had old footage, I guess. But the guy in the documentary. If you told me he died 2 years ago, I would believe that. It was pretty. I mean, I'm not making a joke.
Yeah,
he was in bad shape.
I also have in my notes here, why are athletes or coaches ever interviewed? It's always cringeworthy. And it's not because of the athletes or the coach or anything. It's because they're obvious, stupid questions that, you know what I mean? Yeah, we're going to try hard and try to win.
Yeah, I always wonder about that in like NFL because, you know, they come out from halftime and they're like, so coach, what are you going to do different in the second half? And clearly the coach can't say what they're going to do different, right? The other team has the ability to hear what they're saying.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, we're going to go out, we're going to play hard. Yeah, gotta not have as many turnovers.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. And then half the time the athletes themselves are out of shape, you know, out of breath. Not out of shape, out of breath.
Yeah,
You're trying to talk to them anyways.
And then what else do I have here? In the assault part, that is, I think, my favorite part of the show. And those tennis balls look like they hurt. So if people haven't seen American Gladiator, yeah, the gladiator is up on a pedestal with this giant tennis ball shooting like Gatling gun thing.
Yeah.
And
I built something like that in high school for a project.
Oh, that's nice. Well,
serious.
And so there's like 3 or 4 different points where the contestants can take cover and try to shoot a target behind the gladiator. And if they do that, they get a certain amount of points, or they can tie the gladiator by getting to the finish line, which, yeah. So in this, one woman hit the target. I think 2 people got to the finish line and 1 person got hit. And man, those tennis balls really look like they hurt.
Yeah. My note here was that I don't think they understood what they were supposed to aim at. I think only one woman understood the point of the game is to shoot the target above the gladiator, because the other 3 seem to be aiming the weapon directly at the gladiator.
I saw that. So that kind of proves to me too that This is the first time any of them have done this. It's not like they're like, hey, before the show, go out there, kind of test the equipment out, get used to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I don't think so. Now, one of the documentaries mentioned that at some point they hired a person to train the contestants in the joust because people were doing so bad at it.
Nice.
I think this was before, because the joust, I think, again, 3 out of 4 did pretty badly in the joust.
I think
And
two people won, right?
Didn't 2 win the joust? I thought, okay, maybe I miss...
One got
miscounted.
the gladiator off, and the other got the gladiator to step onto their podium, which disqualified them.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it looked like they were just kind of swinging wildly, but maybe I was wrong on that. But for sure, they did not had never fired any of that equipment before.
It's the equivalent of cramming in Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Sometimes you win.
Yeah.
And if I would have had, let's see, wait, what else did I have here?
Well, human cannonball.
Oh yeah, the human cannonball. It'd be more. So the human cannonball is the contestant gets on a swing, almost like Jungle Hunt or something, and tries to knock down by swinging into the gladiator. Tries to knock them off their podium, and the gladiator has like a shield type thing. And I think it'd be funnier if it was the gladiator trying to swing into the contestant.
Yeah, I don't think it would be close, but
Yeah.
So the other observation I have is that I believe they don't film. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to fight off a sneeze. So I don't believe they filmed the episodes in the orders you see them because of the set changes. So the impression I got is that they would film, like they would have a row, like a bunch of contestants. They'd film like 6 episodes at a time or whatever, and it would be like, here's human cannonball for all 6 in a row. Does that make sense? So they said human cannonball, and they filmed that for 6 episodes. And obviously, like the assault, that's a big, not the assault, the final, what's the final thing called?
The Eliminator.
Eliminator, yes. Like, that's a huge setup. Like, they're doing the Eliminator 6 times in a row for 6 different sets of contestants. So, like, human cannonball, I think the further you are into that filming, the worse the gladiators are going to be, because they've just been getting knocked over.
Speaking of the Eliminator, I would have a heart attack halfway through the Eliminator.
Yeah, I think the treadmill part. So the first part is you're running up a reverse treadmill.
Yeah, like the wrong way on an escalator.
Yeah, but it's like treadmill, and then the thing where like you're working an exercise bike but with your arms. I mean, I couldn't do that once.
No, I would just instantly jump down, because if you fall, you have the option to just run to the next thing. You just lose some points or something.
But let's admit it, like this event, the Eliminator, it's American Ninja Warrior, right?
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing.
Yeah. What else did you have in your notes? Those are all mine.
I think that was everything in my notes here. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I also wrote that when I watched the show, I did watch it a little bit in the, when it was new. The hamster ball was my least favorite event, and my opinion has not changed. I skipped it. I watched a few minutes, and I said, this is really boring.
It's stupid, yeah. It looks like it would not even be fun to be in, because you'd be getting slammed in metal cages by gladiators.
Yeah, it doesn't. Nothing about it looks fun. I would never do that.
Well,
it just looks like a concussion machine.
Did you check out? I saw in 2008 they tried to bring back American Gladiator. For
I did not see that. No, I feel like they could bring it back anytime.
Like every
again,
10 years.
Yeah, because I mean, American Ninja Warrior's been on for, I don't know, 10 years, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, and then regular Japanese Ninja Warrior was on before that on G4. I watched it all the time.
Yeah, so people watch it, and the only difference is there isn't someone like trying to knock you down off the events.
Yeah.
But I think you could bring this back. You get like ex-football players, or I'm trying to think what would be. I think ex-football players would work, ex-UFC guys, people who, can't do full-time, can't play running back full-time anymore, but can still hit pretty hard.
Yeah. Well, should we jump into your game club game since we're talking about American Gladiator?
All right. So I played the NES version. I probably should have done the Genesis or Super Nintendo versions. I just for whatever reason, was drawn to the NES version. It feels like American Gladiators should be an NES game, even though it was predominantly in the 90s after the 16-bit systems were out. It's all right. I mean, the Pugil Stick game is just a button masher. I didn't really find any real strategy to that. The wall game, I didn't last more than a couple seconds, really. I could get to like the first, not so much checkpoint, but the first time the maze kind of, like the wall in that one is more like you're going through a maze and being chased by gladiators. Human Cannonball, though, was really fun. Like, I could see that being made into like a 2600 game. Like, you know how Summer Games is more fun on 2600 than any other platform?
Yeah.
Like, Human Cannonball on 2600 could be absolutely a blast. That was fun. And then the Assault reminded me of He-Man on the Intellivision, which I don't mean as a compliment.
Yeah. My notes on that were that it had very skate or die type graphics.
Yeah, not the same developer either, I don't believe, which is weird.
I don't think so either. Yeah, and but that was the first thing I thought of. I tried to play the Genesis port. So yeah, I played the NES port. I was horrible at it. I did not last very long. The music wasn't bad. The music was, they actually tried to do some of the music from the actual show. Not for the whole game, but certain parts of it had elements. The Genesis music was so annoying, and it doesn't stop. There's no pause or break or anything. And then I really couldn't play the Genesis port, so I tried it on the analog, Sega thing with a 6-button, like a legit Sega 6-button controller, and then I tried it on the Pocket, and it wouldn't work. The controls were all messed up. And so that's a question for all our listeners. Like, if you have like an FPGA device, let me know if you could get the Genesis port to American Gladiator to work for you, and if there was anything you had to do. I looked to see if I had like a 6-button issue, you know what I mean? And I couldn't find anything, but I didn't look that hard.
Did you hold down the mode button?
No. But I didn't have an option on the Pocket, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
I mean, there might be an option on the Pocket.
Yeah, there's a small number of games where you have to hold the mode button on start or else the game doesn't work. When I wrote like a test ROM at one point, and what I found was some of the Genesis, you were playing a clone, you're doing an FPGA one, right? But like the At Games Sega Nomad clone, that only has a 3-button controller built into it. And if you look, when you put like a game in there, it has the mode button always pressed.
Oh, weird.
Because, well, that's its workaround. So if you do happen to put in a game that needs the mode button, it's just always pressed. Always. But it also means and you can do this, by the way, you could write a Sega Genesis game that used the mode button as like just a regular button. There's nothing to stop you from now having a 7-button controller.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it just... So
is the mode button like the trigger button at the top?
Yeah, it's like the little trigger at the top.
Oh, okay.
But I would assume the FPGA systems would account for this better than the cheap At Games clones.
Yeah, so I got to look at it more. I was running out of time when I did it. That was really... And I couldn't get past Joust on the NES. I kept hitting the guy. He kept missing me. He kept like trying to do the down hit, the knee hit. And every time he did that, I just hit him. So he was always at the edge of his podium, but I couldn't knock him off. And then it got to 0 seconds, and it didn't stop.
Yeah.
Eventually, I just turned the game off.
Yeah, so I feel like this was something kind of rushed. I think maybe they assumed the popularity of American Gladiators would not last, so they rushed out a game. Find some developers who have some mini games ready to go. Strap American Gladiators, branding around them, and get it out there.
Yeah, any closing thoughts on it?
No, I would not recommend this game.
Me
I don't
neither.
even think for nostalgia it's a very good way to remember the show.
Well, I did Street Fighter 1, another banger. So obviously this was the first Street Fighter game. It came out August 30th, 1987 in the arcades, and then it was ported to the TurboGrafx 16 CD system. And you play Ryu or Ken, And it's a Street Fighter game. You have your special moves. You know, you could throw a fireball. You could do a dragon kick stuff and dragon punch. Or sorry, hurricane kick and dragon punch. Please don't cancel me for screwing that up. And yeah, my thoughts on this game is I liked it better than I thought. The TurboGrafx 16 port held up very well. In fact, the only difference I could find was better sound and less animation in the background. And what else? Both played almost exactly the same. It is a very unbalanced game where I mostly spammed Fireball and Dragon Punch, and I got pretty far twice in it, and then every once in a while I would just get annihilated, like in 3 or 4 hits. And sometimes I would do the same thing to the computer. And let's see what else. I think it's really cool that this was an early-ish game for the TurboGrafx 16 CD. It was very cutting edge at the time. In fact, it's what they tried to use to sell the system. It was in all their marketing and their TV ads. And then on the same system, you could also get Street Fighter 2. Now, of course, you needed the Super Graphics update, but kind of cool that they are both in the same ecosystem. And it just shows you how amazing that system can be. The legacy characters in this got around a little bit in the later Street Fighter games. So Lee is related somehow. I don't know if he's their dad or uncle to the twins in Street Fighter 3. Birdie from Street Fighter is in Street Fighter Alpha. Eagle is in Alpha 3. Alpha 3 Max, which is the PSP port of Alpha 3. And then he's also in Capcom versus NSK. And then Add-on, or Adon, however you pronounce it, is in Alpha and Street Fighter 4. And Sagat is in, like, everything. What did I think about this game? I had fun playing it. I wouldn't play it that much. I would probably play any other Street Fighter over it. But I'll still pull this out and play it every once in a while. I think I like Yi Ar Kung Fu, that game, more than most anyone. But here is the order I would put these types of games from worst to best in my book. So Karate Champ, kind of started it all. Kung Fu Master, not a very fun game. I don't know if that's a hot take or what. And then this game, Street Fighter. And then Fatal Fury. They're almost tie. So the guy that coded Street Fighter went on to SNK and created Fatal Fury. So that's why I lumped that in here. Then Yi Ar Kung Fu, which is, earlier and might, be less intensive than any of these I already listed. Then Final Fight, even though it's not a 2D fighter, same company, probably some of the same developers. And then Street Fighter 2. Sia, what do you think about Street Fighter or Fighting Street?
Yeah, well, I'm glad you covered it more because I really did not get into this. I tried the TurboGrafx 16 CD version, and really, my impression was I would have done better fighting actual 7-foot-tall street punks.
There was a few times, where I just got knocked out right away.
Yeah, I made no progress in this game at all, and I'm decent. I'm not going to say I'm great, but I'm decent at Street Fighter 2, and I was just awful at this game.
It's definitely a different feel and a different balance.
Yeah, I think maybe I was trying to play it like Street Fighter 2, and of course it just isn't Street Fighter 2.
Yeah. And I do remember seeing this game in the arcade and being blown away, and then seeing Street Fighter 2 years later and thinking, like, this is the best graphics I've ever seen in my life. Well, what do you want to play next?
A game I mentioned last episode that I think I'll try. Narc.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to do King's Quest 3 To Err is Human. And the reason why is we got an email about some 16-bit maps that we might go into sometime. But and that got me thinking about this game. But then also that Quarry game that I talked about at the top of this episode, it had a lot of point-and-click adventure type elements that I really liked. Like, they really knocked it out of the park with how they did that. And again, it got me thinking about these games and why I love them. So yeah. So if any of our listeners play Narc, King's Quest 3, American Gladiators, Street Fighter, or Fighting Street, even if you play the Quarry, which is a new game, if you get laid off from Embracer Group, or if you, that's really all we had in this whole episode, isn't it? Or if you go to some cool garage sales and have some hot pickups, email us, email@retrogameclub.net. Zach has all our socials on there as well, and our link tree is in the show notes. Thank you, Zach, for doing all that. And we do have one email this time.
Yeah, I can get it. From Majors. We were talking last week about the 32X Doom conversion. And he reminded us that Zero Tolerance on Sega Genesis has a one-on-one link mode. And yeah, it was a mail order only. We might have talked about this in an early episode because now it sounds super familiar. But it was, yeah, the publisher made that. They, at some point, released the ROM for free. So it's like a game you can legally play for free. I
guess
guess
does seem familiar.
Yeah, it seems familiar. I wonder if it ever been decompiled. But yeah, you had to use their link cable. It's actually, Zero Tolerance is a pretty good game, by the way. That's I can't recall if we ever played it, but were we talking with the Dreamcast NES? Nestor GC,
I brought it up. I brought it
okay.
up last time, how I loved it.
Okay, yeah. Well, he was a big fan, too. I had one at my desk at work at a previous job. It's because I got stuck working there late a lot, so...
See, at the time, I didn't have a real... Well, my Nintendo stuff was at my parents' house in the basement somewhere. I thought my mom had sold it, and she hadn't. And so this is all I had. And if you didn't have anything to compare it to, and you haven't played those games in a year or two or longer, it seemed like a great emulator. But, now is kind of not the best emulation.
Starcade. So we're big fans of Starcade, at least I am. He mentions a local bar and Airbnb. So I guess it's arcade and Airbnb. Okay, that's a good combo. It's called Wieners and Losers, and they started producing a Starcade-like game called Arcade Animals. But they haven't put it on YouTube yet.
That's awesome.
Game Center CX, I think we also talked about. And Kotaku at some point did a subtitled version of the show. If you want to go watch it with English subtitles. Or you buy Retro Game Challenge, which I understand is based on Game Center CX. What was our recommended Game Gear games? He says Psychic World, which I might have a loose copy of. I think I have this game. I have to look. Yeah, well, so thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Majors, for always writing in. And please, other people, we miss you. Please write in email at retrogameclub.net. And we do have some social feedback. One from Street Fighter saying there is, or no, this is actually Phantasy Star.
Oh, yeah.
That we played a few episodes ago. That the cake shop we talked about, that's in a dungeon in the caves, there's a reference to it in Phantasy Star Online in the cave area. So,
wow.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. And then some other favorite Game Gear games. Factory Panic, Defender of Oasis, Crystal Warriors, Tales Adventure, and Popples.
I tried Crystal Warriors. It's like tactical RPG, sort of like Shining Force.
And then Sonic Triple Trouble, and what's that last one?
Game Gear Aliste 3. I think it is I don't think it's a physical game. I think it was released some sort of like limited bonus game that came along with another game.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I butchered the history of it, but that's my understanding.
That's cool artwork. Well, cool. Yeah. So please email at retrogameclub.net, especially if you made it this far. Give us some stars, give us some likes, give us some reviews. That helps us connect with more people. And I think that wraps it up.
Yeah, I think so. So thanks for listening.